Hi, I'm Savannah and this is Safari Savvy. Today we're going to learn all about leopard tortoises. Look at this cute little guy here. This leopard tortoise is about 3.5 months old, and at full size it'll be 10 to 18 inches and weigh about 40 to 50 pounds. This is the 4th largest tortoise species in the world, although this is actually the smaller subspecies of the two. These guys, as they get older, get really cool white and black marbling on them, which is why they're known as leopard tortoises. Leopard tortoises are grassland grazers. They do not burrow, and they roam around and search for food all day long. So they're looking for grass, hay. They're going to try to find herbs and a few berries, but not many, in Africa. They're also known as giant African cat toys. Big cats in Africa will actually bat these guys around and around, but luckily they can hide in their shell, not entirely, and they'll kind of cocoon up until the cat gets bored with them and they leaves them alone. These guys here can feel through their shell. Their shell is actually made out of alpha and beta keratin, which is the same as our hair and our nails. And if you scratch their shell, they can actually feel through their shell. They'll give you a little dance as they get older. So we feed our tortoises a mixture of collard greens and mustard greens, and we also give them flour topper as well as soaked Missouri tortoise chow, which is great to have on hand in case you can't get fresh greens during a pandemic. These guys will like the flour toppers. They actually like them dry, and they'll moisten up a little bit next to the tortoise chow. We always make sure that we use calcium. I like Calcium Plus because it's a Calcium Plus multivitamin. Make sure that you have a UVB light that goes over the entire enclosure. I prefer the T5 UVBs. Remember, this is a desert species, so we're using 10.0 on these guys. We also have a small mini halogen basking light. These guys are small but mighty. A 20 watt or 25 watt is actually equivalent to about a 50 watt. And with this, we'll get a temperature down here of about 95 to 100 degrees. We're going to use our temp gun here to temp. We do not temp through the glass. We do not temp through the mesh. We'll actually open up the enclosure and temp directly down. The closer you get to that basking area, the more accurate the temperature, and then you'll use an ambient temperature by going further away. Again, not through the grate and not through the glass, because you won't get accurate temperatures that way. We do not offer a water dish inside this enclosure because it produces a little bit too much humidity. So we actually soak these guys about every other day. And when we soak them, we use our Reptisafe water conditioner, and we soak them in lukewarm water for about 10 minutes. Make sure that you're always keeping an eye on them. Supervised soakings only. Leopard tortoises get 10 to 18 inches long, and they'll get 40 to 50 pounds, and they will live upwards of 100 years. Typically, it's about 50 to 100 years, so make sure you have them in your will to pass down to somebody. I know my kids are fighting over who gets which one. Leopard tortoises eat the size of their shell every day, so make sure you have fresh greens available for your buddies. They also double in size every year. I highly recommend using a timer for your animals so that you have consistency of lights on and lights off. We do 12 hours on and 12 hours off. If you have a work schedule where you wake up a little bit earlier, you might want to kick their lights on a little bit earlier, or if you sleep in a little bit, you might want to kick their lights on a little later so they can kind of be more active when you're more active. Leopard tortoises get rather large, 10 to 18 inches, and weigh 40 to 50 pounds again, so you probably don't want to keep them up north unless you have a room dedicated to them. They do very well where I'm at, which is in Florida, where once they're about 2 years old, we'll actually move them outside. Now, we do take them outside occasionally for natural UVB, but for fear of predators attacking them, we keep them inside until they're about 2 years old. They will be full grown around 8 to 10 years old. Obviously, they'll grow a little bit after that, but that's when they're considered adults. Adults will not lay eggs until they're about 8 to 10 years old. I've heard a lot of people talk about the U's and the V's on the shell, and it being a male or a female depending on whether or not underneath the shell looks like a U or looks like a V. Personally, I have seen males with U's and females with V's, so I don't feel like that's an accurate way to sex an animal. Unless they were incubated sexed, which means that they were incubated for a certain gender, you wouldn't know the actual gender until they're full grown. I would I would not actually put a gender on a tortoise until it was at least 6 to 7 years old, preferably 8 or 9 years old. Males will be concaved under the shell so that they can mount the females, and females will be flat under their shell. Yeah, you can incubate, it depends on the different species. Some of them will become male if they're warmer temperatures, and then other species will become females if they're warmer temperatures. And so it's not with all species, but with tortoises they've found that they can incubate sex, a lot of them, for gender. Only when I incubate, I just go mid-level so that you have a mix of both. Leopard tortoises are known to eat their number twos. Yeah, that's right. Ew, yuck. Why would they do that? They actually get about 2 to 4 times the nutritional value after their second consumption versus when they first eat things like grass and hay. They're very difficult to absorb the nutrients from, so the eating of the number 2 is actually a necessity. I'm Savannah, and this is Safari Savvy. Thank you for watching all about leopard tortoises. Follow us for more amazing animal information.